we have come to probably the most interesting dive site in the whole of Bonaire.
It's actually famous because it's sunk twice.
It suffers from this stuff called reversals.
A huge fight for any spaces here in the mooring field. 2 o'clock in the morning, it's when everything always happens.
Slight issue, our auto helm seems to be a bit on the blink.
We're doing 10 knots!
Someday we're going to tell you the story of how Brownie nearly killed me.
Traditionally, people do their 100 dive. No, naked. No!
Last time on Red Seas, we rented some electric scooters and ventured out on the roads to explore Bonaire. We found a salt mine and Ian tried to eat his souvenir, and then found some real-life wild flamingos. Back on the boat, we jumped in with our dive gear to explore the house reef and couldn't believe the amount of life right underneath the mooring field. This time, we're celebrating a very special dive, and we can't wait to bring you along.
Something we've learnt about Bonaire and the mooring field here, which is it suffers from this stuff called reversals, or backwinding, or wind shifts. They have lots of different names, but basically it means that every couple of days or so, the wind turns, instead of coming from the east, which is kind of what we all expect, and that's where the mooring field is laid out really pretty, it spins round and comes from the west, which means that we all turn around and get really close to shore. And I'm sure the camera makes that look like it's a long way away, but it's probably 20, 25 meters away. That part is only nervous because the sea is also getting shallower the further that way we go, so we might end up grounding out. More nerve-wracking than that is that all the neighbours get a lot closer because everyone spins around and everyone's kind of tightly packed in here. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to take the day to go off and dive. So we're going to move Indy, the mothership, down the coast a little bit to a couple of dive sites we've read about, and they sound really cool. But we're going to hopefully still have our mooring when we come back.
There's like a huge fight for any spaces here in the mooring field. It is absolutely ram-packed. I have not seen a spare one anywhere. And so we don't want to lose it while we're out for the day.
There's a system here where you can leave a marker on your mooring, kind of like a semi-reserve sign, but it's only respected by all the boats. It's not respected by the marina, by any of the authorities. It's just like a cruiser's handshake.
So what we do is we've written our name on a bottle and we're just going to tie that onto the mooring bowl so that when we leave, it sort of reserves it. It says Indio go, and as long as we come back within 24 hours, then, you know, the rule is, the idea is that no one else will take it.
So we're going to test that out. Hopefully, we still come back to a mooring and a place to park.
We're going to head south a little bit and find one of the little tiny mooring bowls on these dive sites. So we weren't convinced that they were really rated for a boat this size, but everybody else says it's fine. And we have tried it a couple of times on other ones. So there's these little yellow pins marking all of the dive sites the whole way down the coast of Bonaire. As long as no one else is on that mooring bowl, then we can just pick it up for a couple of hours, dive the site. The dive site we're trying to get to this morning is a shipwreck called the Hilma Hooker. It's actually famous because it's sunk twice.
So we realised that we've never actually shown you how we set up our gear to go diving and what diving is really all about. Those of you who have dived or do dive, please don't judge us. There's lots of different ways to do this. There are the right ways according to different people, and weirdly those right ways are always different. The gear is straightforward, it really is. So you've got like this stab jacket thing, which is also known as a BCD. BCD has big air pockets in it, so we can use this to actually float like a life jacket, if you like. But the real reason is, while we're at depth, we can use that to control our buoyancy, to keep us at a level. And then, what Brownie's setting up now.
So yeah, I just need to put an adapter on here because we've got an adapter inside here that we can't get out. We tried to and it nearly broke the tank. So I'm just sort of using 2 adapters to make this fit. But basically, yeah, that will just get the air from in the tank out to the regulator that I can breathe.
Simples. And you have a second one that's in a very attractive yellow, which your buddy, if they're doing the right job, will give you that when you run out of air.
Yeah, he says that with a smile on his face because your buddy will only give it to you if you really need it. If you're messing around and it's your own fault, then your buddy might not help you out.
Someday we're going to tell you the story of how Brownie nearly killed me.
It was not my fault.
Anyway, getting on with the tour. Then you've just connected another hose. What's this for?
Yeah, so this just brings the air from the tank down into the BCD. So when I turn the air on, I can press this button and inflate all of these air pockets around to keep me buoyant and at the surface.
All there is left is we put some extra weights down in some weight pockets down here, which just compensates for the weight of our wetsuits, which we never normally wear, but we've become wimps. Mine is just a straightforward 5mm wetsuit. There's nothing special. Brownie, on the other hand, has been diving with a 5mm semi-dry wetsuit, which has extra cuffs and things so that no water gets in, and she is basically in... I was going to say you're in the tropics. You are in the tropics. She's just a wimp. Like a real wimp. She'll still turn to me in like 40 minutes and be like, I'm a little bit cold.
I think the air temperature is about 34, 35 degrees out here, and the water temperature is kind of 30, 31. I'm
All
still
Celsius.
like, yeah, give me more layers, I want to be cozy.
Ridiculous. So yeah, if you dive, that'll have been a really boring tour. But if you don't dive, if you ever thought it's interesting, those are the basic parts. You just need an inflatable life jacket, a breathy hose, a big metal box on the back of on your back, which has lots of air in it, some fins and a mask. That's pretty much all you need. Anyway, I'm falling behind, so I'm going to get set up and then we'll jump in and show you around this incredible dive site. We have come to probably the most interesting dive site in the whole of Bonaire. This place is particularly special and it's kind of quirky. It's going to be a fun one to explain, but to be honest, I just want to get in the water and we'll tell you about it in a second, okay?
The Hilma Hooker is a 70-metre ship that first sunk in the Dominican Republic in 1975. It was refloated, had its name changed, and was sold on to a new owner. 10 years later, after it had passed through a few people's hands, it turned up here in Bonaire. The local drug enforcement agency had been keeping an eye on it, thinking that there was perhaps something a little bit suspect about it, and then it had engine problems out at sea. So they towed it in to rescue the crew and discovered 25,000 pounds of marijuana hidden behind a false bulkhead. So they arrested everybody on board, but while they were trying to find the owner, it started to sink on the dock. And they thought, oh, that's going to get in the way, so they towed it out to sea a little bit and let it sink over here. So now it's become this really cool dive site on the south coast of Bonaire and presumably made somebody very rich and very happy with an awful lot of drugs. At one point, I noticed I had lost my torch, so we had to abandon the shipwreck for a while and go searching on the sand. Luckily, we found it on the bottom of the ocean and saved ourselves a few $100 in a replacement there. The original name of the ship, the William Express, was written on the side of the hull, helpfully spelled out for you here in sign language by Ian. We swam back over the top of the wreck and used the rest of the air in our tanks to explore the reef nearby. It was so surreal coming back up to the surface right underneath Indy. I don't think I am ever going to get used to seeing her from this angle.
How was your dive?
Oh, that was so cool.
Yeah?
Like, we haven't done a wreck for quite a while, so it was nice to have a little swim through, have a little explore. Thought I saw a shark at one point.
Yeah, that wasn't a shark. That was very much a big silverfish. Yeah, that counts. But then that grouper was huge.
Yeah, he was cool.
And like he just owned that little tunnel wherever we were. That was neat.
No, it was nice to look inside. And you know the cool thing?
Huh?
That dive was number 99. So this afternoon we're gonna hit the 100!
Traditionally, people do their 100 dive
No!
naked.
No! Naked is not a thing.
It looks like this is right now.
Not that kind
That's not our kind of gig. We don't do that kind of video. All right, this is it.
Going down.
100 dives begins at. Turtles, squid,
Massive moray eel.
huge moray,
Dragon of the sea.
what else? Look,
Cool pier, random stuff.
tons of parrotfish.
Oh, that was nice.
That's cool.
It is 6 o'clock in the evening and we have just moved the boat onto another mooring bowl. There's been a big shuffle in the mooring field today. At 2 o'clock in the morning, overnight tonight, there is a wind reversal due. Looks kind of strong winds, so it's probably going to get kind of bouncy, and the inner row is definitely worse off. It's closer to shore, it's slightly shallower, and there's not much space. So a whole ton of boats have moved into the marina as a precaution. We've moved on to someone else's bowl. They've moved on to another one further up because our friends there have got into the marina. So everyone's kind of jostling for the best space, and we're hoping it comes to absolutely nothing. But yeah, we're doing what we need to do to be prepared in case it all kicks off. 2 o'clock in the morning, it's when everything always happens. The reversal didn't seem all that bad. We had a couple of days of facing the wrong way, and then all the boats that fled into the marina came back out again yesterday. It seemed all safe and calm and quiet, and then we've just been woken up crazy early as the sun is just coming up. And now that the mooring field is absolutely full, it is rammed, there are boats everywhere, and we have got these huge waves coming side on. And yeah, everybody's flying, some people are moving off their bowls, like everyone's checking their mooring lines. It is mayhem. It's always kind of difficult to show you rough conditions because the waves always just look so flat on camera. But just look down, I mean, you can tell that I'm falling over for one thing, but just look down this line of masts and see how unstraight they are. They are all twisting and rocking and rolling at different times. It's kind of wild. So the waves are still just as big, but at least the wind has now turned to come from the same direction. So before we were all facing sideways and getting rolled side to side. At least now it's forwards and backwards and slightly more manageable. So I have no idea how long this is going to last for. Everybody didn't see this coming. We thought that the winds had swung back around the correct way. So yeah, hopefully it's not too long and I want to go back to bed. Just look how close these other boats are. It's terrifying. So the weather has kind of calmed down again now, but there was loads of rain this morning, so it has brought a whole ton of runoff from the roads down into the water. So the sea is not quite the sort of turquoise blue, crystal clear, enticing thing it was when we arrived. It's got all these rivers of mud kind of running through it. And there is another reversal due tomorrow. So we've decided we're going to slip our lines and head off this morning. We are going to Curacao. And while that all happens, Ian is just setting up a live stream for our patrons. We had this really cool idea that we could live stream as we leave from a country and just sort of leave it running for as long as Starlink would stay connected. And then on our sail from Grenada to here, it never disconnected. So that would have been like a 4-day live stream. And that is, you know, slightly too intense and nobody really cares about that. So yeah, we're just going to live stream us kind of setting off and letting our patrons see what it looks like as we set out today. The wind is fairly calm, but it should be coming from behind us all the way. And then tomorrow it's going to spin around. So fingers crossed we will get the sails up, spinnaker, maybe dinner only, not too sure yet. We'll see what we get when we head out there. Here we go. All right, we are underway as predicted. Very, very light winds, but we're going to give the spinnaker a try. So Ian is just getting everything set up, and yeah, we're going to see how we go.
So we were adjusting a Patreon live and we're explaining how the spinnaker is great fun to set up, but takes forever. So we only really put it up when we know we're going to be able to sail it most of the day. The goal is someday we're going to put on the bowsprit a secondary sail and then we can have 2 foresails, but for now we have the parachute. Okay.
All right, I'm going to go to the port side. Okay,
Okay.
good to go.
Alrighty. 3, 2, 1, don't die.
Beautiful.
Nice. And that is us underway at last. Engines off, back to just the sounds of the water going under the rudders and the hulls. It feels so much nicer. Slight issue, our auto helm seems to be a bit on the blink. Yeah, it runs for a few minutes and I think it might be overheating. It just suddenly comes up with a message saying drive unit off. So yeah, we're gonna have to look into that one, but I guess that means we're hand steering today. At least it's a short-ish passage. Otherwise that would be a bigger problem. I tell you, the boat hears it when we start talking about dreams and ideas. It goes, I can make you have no money. I can take up all your budget. Yeah, I really don't want to be buying a new drive unit for our autopilot. That'd be really bad, given we just changed the brain as well. So the autopilot computer is brand new and shiny and wonderful, and I really hope the drive unit hasn't decided it's feeling jealous. I don't know. But anyway, we're flying along. Everything's going to be relatively easy, and it's a sunny day now. It wasn't sunny over there. It looks pretty sunny over there.
I thought we were going to have like a really slow afternoon of, you know, just really cruisy sailing, not doing too much. Maybe we might hit 5 knots. And I just came out to see how Ian was doing at the helm and I was like, ah, we're doing 10 knots. Whee! Someone's happy.
Yeah, the Kraken is doing an amazing job. Yeah, we're having to, it's weird, with the spinnaker up, we're still having to pinch. I guess we're pinching. The wind is actually sitting at like 120 degrees when we're going where we want to go. So it's kind of just heading out of the optimum zone.
Yeah.
And we're just skimming underneath the island now. I see land! And we've got here in record time. Like, that was seriously fast.
I was so sure that we were going to get here after sunset and coming in the dark. And I don't quite know how long it's going to take us to get around the bottom and in, but there feels like a lot of daylight left.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got about maybe another hour and a half to go. And we will be there during day. I'm going to say it. It's going to go horribly wrong, so I'm going to slow us down, but we're going to be there during daylight.
Cool. That makes it easier.
An hour before sunset would be my optimistic definition. We'll see. But yeah.
Sundowners.
Sundowners. What a great sail. It's been fun.
Yeah.
The waves have picked up. That's the only thing.
Yeah, it's definitely getting slightly more rocky rolly now, but with the speed, I'll take it. It's still downwind. It's fine.
10 knots! Come on, baby. I've just come off watch and that was fun. Basically, the waves as we came around the point were really building, so we were surfing down them, which is why we hit the crazy 10 knots or whatever it was, which wasn't expected with the spinner prop on bigger waves that were quite steep. But I'm quite happy with the result. So Brian's just taking watch now. She'll take us around the corner, and then we get to Spanish Waters, which is the anchorage we're aiming for. It's actually almost a lagoon. It's got a narrow passageway to get in, and then there's like a couple of fjords? I don't know what you'd call them, little fingers of water that we can work with. And a couple of options depending where the tourist boats are and where all the wake is going to be, and also how we get checked in. So we have to find the dinghy dock and everything. But yeah, it's all part of the fun. So we should be there probably in the next hour or so, I reckon. So now that I'm not steering constantly by hand, because our autopilot is still being a bit iffy, I get to have lunch, Brian gets to do the hard work, and I don't know, maybe she'll take us all the way to anchor and I can just have a snooze.